What you doing?
I am, we just picked up this vehicle. It's a 1985 Ford F250. It has a 6.9 liter diesel in it. And I'm going to be taking this engine and tranny out of this and then putting it into, what is it, 1987 Grumman 25-foot, one of those big aluminum square ones that they use at the food trucks and all that stuff. The engine only has about 350,000 kilometers. I'm not sure what that is in miles, probably just over 200,000. So it's pretty low. It looks like crap, but clean it all up and get it going in the other vehicle, and the rest of this will just be for parts and sell a few things off of it, recoup some of my money. I bought it for $1,000. I'm just gonna take out the rear windshield here and sell that because it's in mint condition. It's nice and tinted. Apparently these are pretty rare and only made for certain years, so I'm going to pull those out and sell them, try and recoup some of my money. And so now I've got it pretty much all taken apart. Oils are emptied out of it. It's all disconnected from one end to the other as far as I know. We'll find out in a few minutes. And I'm going to use my forklift here to pull it out. Down here looking at things and seeing what's caught on what. Alright, got the 6.9 liter here. We got it out of the truck. I got the transmission off of it, cleaned it up twice already. And now this is the third time I've gone through and completely soaked the engine and scrubbed it down because it was absolutely caked on there hardcore. I'm not really sure what was going on. I do know that the return lines and all that kind of stuff were leaking like crazy. They were leaking so bad that these whole things were full of diesel fuel, and of course, and that's leaking everywhere, like a big gigantic mess. And I'm not sure how long that was going on for. It does look like, somebody tried to put a hole. There's a new water pump on it, new gasket. Somebody was putting new things on there. There is a new intake gasket on there, but I am not sure what is up with this almost white silicone of some kind. So I don't know if I trust any of it. I don't know if it was leaking because the thing was so freaking bad. So I got a whole bunch of gaskets coming for it anyways. I am just about to give it a good huge hose down, and you guys can watch a little bit here. Actually put my safety glasses on because getting stuff in your eye absolutely sucks. Day 2 here. I've got the 6.9 liter. It's been all cleaned up. I scrubbed it down. I haven't really scrubbed the head part too much because the heads have to come off. There's one broken stud there, 2 broken ones right there, right beside each other, right where the 2 cylinders meet. So that's like a nightmare type thing. And we still have the one right there. So the heads are going to come off, it's no doubt about it. I've got all the other gasket services for the bottom end all cleaned up. Good to go, clean. Gonna start putting all that stuff together, all nice and clean. So I'm gonna put the whole bottom of it together, so that way I can put it down in my little wooden crate thingy over there. Hold it up for me, and then once it's down sitting on that, I'll be able to take the intake off, take the heads off, and fix all that stuff. I'm probably just going to go to ARP head studs because, hey, you might as well, as long as they're not too expensive. We'll have to see. My parts guy was off today, so I'll have to see what he says tomorrow. Alright, and if I look over here, I've been cleaning parts like crazy as well. I'm going to reuse the water pump because that's obviously somebody just changed it a while ago. Whole bunch of other stuff. Here's all the gaskets I got going with it. There is no really good gaskets for the oil pan. They only sell you just cork ones, and I'm just not putting a cork gasket in my engine, thank you. So I use some RTV silicone. I don't really like doing that on the oil pan. for an engine, it's really acceptable for me to do it on a transmission oil pan. It's kind of the standard, but for an oil pan, I don't know, I've never done it before, so just feels a little awkward. But you do a professional job and it'll be what it's going to be. Alright, here's an update on the 6.9. When putting on the front cover, the instructions say we are supposed to remove this, take the whole injection pump out, remove this cover, have this gear just completely free float here and be all like, able to move or something like that, things we don't want. So I kept it on there, and when this plate, I just kind of, came loose and poof, popped it out. So now when I'm putting on the gaskets here, I'm going to put the gaskets on, and to fix that, I'm going to put just up inside that little tiny trough there, the smallest amount of red RTV silicone, not very much, else it'll just squish out into the inside and then end up in your pan and then end up inside the pickup just like last time. So a small amount, and then I will take the plate here, whoop, stick it up and on that way and seal it up, over a little bit, seal it up like that. All right, the rear cover is on with the rear main seal installed. Front cover on, water pump on, that was put immediately on. Well, I put this on and then boom, that went on immediately. So that way all these bolts can help clamp everything down, really hold it in place tight. And you can just see a little bit of silicone there, here, tucked up underneath, really perfect. I've already got the coolant down pipe on there, the outlet. I have got the silicone. Now that is, I think that's a really good amount right there. Not too much where it's just going to squish out and end up either in the pan or just hanging off the outside of your engine. Just enough where it squishes in there and makes a good solid seal all the way through. Making sure there's no oil drips going across the gasket surface, because that will definitely cause a leak. It has to be 100% dry, completely cleaned with brake clean. Alright, now I've got it up there. Putting all of the bolts in by hand. Alright, as you can see, I've put the pan up there, and that is I've just snugged the bolts up until you get that nice little tiny pout out. And that is how it is done. Now I will let that dry for at least an hour. This stuff I'll probably just let go overnight. Good day, it's day number 3 as I'm working on the 6.9. This is sat overnight now, and so that silicone is pretty guaranteed to be nice and dry. I have to tighten. Now a lot of people, once it gets dry like this, they come back and they crank it down and actually squish all of the silicone out that they just nicely put in there. So we snugged it up yesterday. So today we are just going to use a 1/4 inch ratchet, and I've actually got a nice adapter that takes it up to 3/8 drive for the 7/16 socket. And I'm just going to tighten it up good and snug with the 1/4 inch ratchet. I use a 1/4 inch ratchet because I cannot apply a maximum amount of leverage on it, thus over tightening it, right? If you use some big 1/2 inch ratchet, it's going to be huge. Lots of torque and leverage applied. That's not what we need. And as you can see, I'm not tightening it very much, just snugging it up good and firm, good and tight. Not enough to squish out all my silicone. And the nice thing about the silicone is it does act as a natural little Loctite once it fully hardens, right? And does hold the bolt, or I guess nut, in position. Now that the pan is dry, I can put it down on my little wooden stand here and start disassembling the top end for the heads. Alright, now I can start disassembling the whole top end. I'm going to start taking the injection pump out, leave all the lines on. One thing I really liked about this one is the lines are in actually really good condition. There isn't much corrosion or pitting on them at all. So I'll carefully clean them up a little bit and at least throw some primer on them. Probably a little bit of primer and paint. But I like that, they look really good. And start taking the intake off and getting it down to the cylinder head stage. Good day, day 5 here. Because we had some broken head bolts, I could not find stock replacement ones, so I just went ahead and got ARP head stud kit. It worked out quite nicely. It'll be also rock solid and far more dependable. So I got myself a 6.9 porcupine, I guess, here. Just about to sit down for a minute, then come out and put the head gaskets on. I might film that for you so you can see it. Also, yesterday, since today's day 5, I didn't film anything on day 4. It was pouring rain yesterday, and so I didn't get anything done on the engine really. But I did wander all the way through, take apart my transmission. Got up the, ordered up the parts and stuff I needed. Everything was rock solid in it. Just somebody had absolutely destroyed low reverse clutches and everything like that. So should just be a quick, straightforward rebuild. I might film some of that as well. This is my actual first C6 transmission, but it's super easy. And I'll also, just for fun, show you what the inside of my shop looks like, because it is absolute chaos at the moment. Which is, you know, it's pretty standard me. Got the heads right there, they're all completely cleaned up. I cannot find another valley pan gasket or intake gasket anywhere. Anybody on eBay that has one wants like 180 bucks or something. So it's like, take a hike. Here's kind of what my shop looks like at the moment. Just friggin' stuff everywhere. I've got like several vehicles on the go at the moment, and it's just chaotic. So I'm gonna sit down for a few minutes and then come out and bang out some heads here. All right, the heads are on. I'm just about to torque them down. I've got my instructions out here. It is a torquing sequence, so you got to go 65, 85, up to 100. And I use a colored marker to write that down and to mark each bolt as I go through and do it. I'll show you what it looks like afterwards with all the colors on it, and I know I got every single bolt. I said I'd show you what it looked like. It looks kind of not well. A whole bunch of it dripped. Sometimes you can get it really nice and just a whole bunch of nice little colorful dots. There's also no dots for the black, which was a 65 foot-pounds. I'm not sure what that would be in metric, but the black doesn't show up on there, so you don't get to see it. But the green was the 85, oh sorry, the yellow was the 85, and the green was 100. And then you did the 100 twice. All right, it is all together. I have not put the harmonic balancer on yet. I want to paint behind it first, put the oil coolers on. These are just sitting on here so I can paint it. Not sure if I should though. The weather seems kind of a bit like it's going to change here. I'm not sure if I like it. Spray it all up and primer and paint. I'll let you look at it when it's all done. I've got to take the mount off and drop the engine down enough so I can get the valve cover on. So, because it came off while I was installing it, and now there's not quite enough clearance for it to fit on there nicely. All right, still working on the 6.9 here inside the big Grumman truck. I've installed a whole bunch of the front engine stuff. I put the injectors in, put the new style glow plugs in. We're going to be converting it to a newer style glow plug system instead of the old push style button, like push button style. Put the whole injector pump in, put the pulleys on. I put the air pump on, alternator on. This is a bit of a larger alternator, but it still fits pretty well. Got all the fuel stuff on. I had to completely customize and redo this bracket because the way it originally sat, the pump would have sat down here. I would have completely been in the way of the power steering. We could have made it work, but the lines were all crumpled and everything's rubbing against each other. So I just modified it and moved the pump up a lot, and it sits there a lot really good. I just got to go and get a new longer bolt. And right now I'm just taking out a bunch of the old wiring that was for the gasoline engine because we just don't need it. And all the small things now is all hook up hoses, listen to loud vehicles go by, and then hook up the power line and slowly wind it down. The biggest thing I'll have to change is the drive shaft needs to be shortened probably 6 inches, maybe 8 inches. So I gotta figure that out and then take that out and take it in, get it shortened and balanced. But that's what I'm up to so far, just working on that. So, just finishing up a whole bunch of the last few things on the 6.9 liter here. The radiator's in. It's all down to kind of wiring. The last few little fuel things, more wiring, and that's pretty much it. We'll be starting. I'm hoping tomorrow sometime. Start it up, and we don't have a drive shaft, so we can't move it anywhere yet. And that'll kind of be it. So
at least we can start it.
I hope so. Tomorrow.
We're gonna try to hose this out. See how that goes.
A while it'll overflow, my love. And careful, it might shoot out of that black hose, you know. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
This black hose that's crimped?
Yuppers.
Okay. It's leaking out of a hose at the bottom.
That would be how you drain the cooling system. And then, yeah, you should be good to go, these.
Sweet. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, there you go. Okay, no.
Potato, potato.
Did it come out the,
Came out the top.
of the radiator?
Mm-hmm.
Did stuff come out?
A little bit. It's like brown.
And is the white little hard chunky thing?
A little bit.
Oh, you're fucking rude.
Not much.
Boy doesn't like only a fucking little bit much.
Only a little bit. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. What are you doing? It sounds weird out here.
I'm installing the shifter and I had to cut a hole in the floor.
Oh.
There's a shifter fixer.
Neat.
Finishing off the last of the small little tiny things for the truck.
Nice. All right.
This is the shifter we'll be using. I think I might want to add a piece to it if we can, because it sits, you still have to reach down pretty far to shift it. But maybe we could add something to it. Have the handle up a little higher for us for ease of operation.
So a different handle.
Or just that part up there and add to it.
The Maiden voyage, how does it feel? So. Is this our third stop?
This is the third stop.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It happens. It's part of the adventure.
We're definitely getting some radiator work done when we get back. I don't think the radiator's up to snuff. See the transmission? Having no problems. Look at this good radiator. Not good radiator.
Oh, it's okay. Fifth time. It's okay. Fifth time.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
It's a nice
You
road
always
trip.
hope for the best, but it's purring like a kitten. It runs like a champ.
It is. It
Everything's
is nice.
going great. We just have a bit of a weird wobble thingy and kind of underneath you.
Yeah.
And
And your little rattle.
It's a fucking, yeah, and the rattle thingy over here.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was this, but I don't think it's that. I'm thinking maybe something inside that heater box, because there's nothing else here. There's like literally nothing to move
No.
and be making crazy noises. guess you saw the video of how things went. I guess I'll just kind of explain a few things and bring you guys up to speed on how it went, because we didn't do any of that during that last filming there. I got it all back together, got it wired up enough to run. The glow plugs aren't hooked up yet, and we got in it and it had reverse but no forward gears. So I had messed something up in the transmission. I tried a few things just under there to mess with it a little bit, but couldn't get it to go. And so I had to, it was running just fine, purring like a big diesel kitten. And then I had to take the tranny out. I had a spare tranny I thought I could put in there that was good, but it turns out it's for a big block and it's a different bell housing than the diesel. So I couldn't put that in. And so I had to take the transmission apart, and it turns out when I take the pump out of the front of the transmission, there's the back part that fits in there and these little cast iron rings. And I had broke the 2 rings. So then I put the old rings back in that came out of the transmission. And then I broke one of those, putting it back in again. I had tightened up the band to hold all the guts in the center, but I think that held everything off center a little bit. And so the pump wouldn't fit in correctly. So I loosened that up. And then I had to take my spare transmission apart, take the rings out of that one, and then put the rings, the one ring I broke, into the diesel transmission. And then once everything was loose, the pump fit back in and it was fine. Put it back in, and then I had forward gear and it was good to go. It went forward, it went reverse. We test drove it around, but the extra day it took me to do all the transmission stuff, almost a day and a little bit, ate up a lot of my time. So I didn't get any of the gauges hooked up or installed. I thought the fuel gauge was going to work, but it turns out the fuel gauge didn't work, the stock one that it comes with, even though it should have. Didn't get the glow plugs hooked up, a whole bunch of stuff like that, mostly simple stuff. But it had lights, it ran, it drove, everything was proper for that and safe. And so we went on vacation. And on the way up, you did have some footage of the inside of the radiator that showed the little hard crusty things. We got some of that out, but not enough, obviously. Going up the big hills, it overheated pretty good. What, 4 times on the way there?
Yeah.
Once on the way back. It is what it is. We're gonna order up a new radiator and change that out. And I'm definitely gonna put the shroud back in, because I didn't put the shroud in, and that could have easily made a difference as well. So put that in, hook up the bunch of wiring next, get the glow plugs hooked up, get the gauges all hooked up. And unfortunately, because the fuel gauge wasn't working, we ran out of fuel once on the way back at like 12:30 at night. Fun times.
Fun times.
But hey, it was vacation.
It was.
Good time.
An adventure.
Yeah, life is an adventure sometimes.
Yeah.
But other than that, it ran great. It obviously needs a little bit of front end work because it was a little bit wobbly at a certain speed, but
yeah,
it kind of worked out good. And yeah, it ran great engine wise, so I'm really happy with that. Just got to start working on these other few small issues, and it'll be a really good, reliable truck.
Yeah. It's going to move us one day.
Yeah, move us to our new place, hopefully in a while.
Yeah, it's a good truck.
Years.
Yep.
And, thank you for tuning in and watching this. If you found it interesting, please like and subscribe. It may mean a lot to us, being a small channel. And when we get the radiator, you get to watch us put it in. And we've got to get busy on some other projects as well. Get some footage for that stuff and get it out to you guys. So thanks for watching.